My name is Danny, and I found myself ensnared in a nightmare on the desolate stretch of road known as Willow Lane in Lilystown. It was a night devoid of moonlight. Darkness draped over the countryside like a shroud. I navigated the winding road, the only company being the whispering winds and the occasional rustle of leaves. Lilystown held a reputation, whispered about in hushed tones by those who knew its secrets. But like many others, I paid little heed to the warnings. As I turned a bend, my headlights pierced the darkness and illuminated a figure standing by the roadside. My heart lurched as I beheld her, a young woman, dressed in a tattered wedding gown, her features contorted in a mask of anguish. The stories flooded my mind, warning me of the haunting bride who prowled these lonely roads. Every fiber of my being urged me to flee, to leave this specter behind in the rearview mirror. But something drew me in, a morbid curiosity mingled with a tinge of fear. Before I could resist, I slowed to a stop beside her.
Please,
She whispered, her voice a hollow echo in the night.
I need your help.
Ignoring the warning bells ringing in my mind, I unlocked the passenger door and invited her in. As she settled into the seat beside me, a shiver ran down my spine at the sight of her twisted countenance. With trembling hands, I resumed driving, the silence between us heavy with unspoken dread. The minutes passed like hours, the only sound the steady hum of the engine. But as we neared the end of Willow Lane, a sense of unease settled over me like a suffocating blanket.
Stop here.
She commanded suddenly, her voice cold and commanding. I obeyed without question, bringing the car to a halt by the side of the road. As she stepped out into the darkness, her form began to twist and contort, her wedding gown billowing around her like a cloak of shadows. And then, with a final, chilling glance in my direction, she vanished into the night. Days turned into nights, and nights into weeks, but the memory of that encounter lingered like a shadow in the back of my mind. Lilystown buzzed with whispered rumors of the haunting bride, and I found myself drawn into the depths of the mystery. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story than met the eye. What compelled the bride to haunt those lonely roads? What tragedy had befallen her, leaving her twisted and tormented? Driven by an insatiable curiosity tinged with dread, I delved into the town's history, scouring dusty archives and listening to the tales of old-timers who remembered a time before the darkness took hold. Slowly, the pieces of the puzzle began to come together, revealing a story more tragic than I could have imagined. It was said that decades ago, a young woman named Eleanor had lived in Lilystown. She was to be married to the love of her life, a dashing young man named Thomas. But on the eve of their wedding, tragedy struck. Thomas was killed in a terrible accident, leaving Eleanor alone and heartbroken. Consumed by grief, Eleanor's mind began to unravel. She wandered the streets of Lilystown in a daze, her once beautiful face twisted by sorrow and madness. And then, one fateful night, she disappeared without a trace, leaving only whispers of her tragic fate behind. But Eleanor's story didn't end there. It was said that her spirit lingered on, cursed to roam the roads of Willow Lane in search of the love she had lost. Those who encountered her were drawn into her tragic tale, never to escape its grasp. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I felt a newfound sense of purpose. I couldn't rest until I had unraveled the mystery of the haunting bride and put her tormented soul to rest. With each passing day, I delved deeper into the shadows of Lilystown, following the breadcrumbs of clues that led me ever closer to the truth. And then, one moonless night, I found myself back on Willow Lane, face to face with the specter that had haunted my dreams. But this time, I was ready. Armed with the knowledge of Eleanor's tragic past, I confronted the haunting bride with compassion rather than fear. I reached out to her, offering solace to her tormented soul. And in that moment, something miraculous happened. The twisted mask of anguish fell away from Eleanor's face, replaced by a serene expression of peace. With a whispered word of gratitude, she vanished into the night, her spirit finally free from the shackles of her tragic past. As I stood alone on Willow Lane, bathed in the light of the rising sun, I knew that I had played a part in bringing closure to a centuries-old mystery. And though the memory of the haunting bride would always linger in the shadows of Lily's town, her tale would now be one of redemption rather than despair. The legends of Lily's town would forever be etched into my mind, a cautionary tale for those who dared to tread where darkness dwelled.